This video is a supplement to Lesson 2 of the Basics Correspondence course, and it's going to show you a way I've been experimenting with making SSKs. Notice that I'm on the wrong side of the work, the purl side. When you make an SSK, the slip-slip part of an SSK is to reorient the stitch on the needle going in the different direction than it normally would. And what this does is it guarantees that the stitch will not be twisted, the decrease will not be twisted. And I was thinking, well, another way you can change the orientation of a stitch on the needle is to wrap it the opposite way on the row before. So I make my SSKs on the right side. If on the row before I'm going to make an SSK, I wrap the stitch not going over the needle for a purl stitch, which is the standard traditional way to do it, but rather under the needle, and I don't want to pull that too tight. This is going to change the orientation, and it's going to allow me to omit the slip-slip part of an SSK. Those are the two stitches. I wrap it the wrong way, and there they are. Not the wrong way, a different way. There are many knitters who knit this way, and that's fine, but traditionally you were wrapping the other way, the opposite way. Never want to say anything is wrong in knitting. I insert my needle, I'm going to wrap it the opposite way. Insert my needle, wrap it the opposite way to my way of knitting, and I work to the end of the row. And when I turn my work, I'm going to be on the row where I'm going to make my SSKs, but I've already slipped them in a way. Now if I look at my stitches, you can see the stitches that are wrapped in the opposite direction. Notice that the right part of the stitch is on the top for traditionally knit stitches, and the left part of the stitch is on the top for the non-traditional way. Okay, so when I get to those stitches, this is what I'm going to do. Trying out new needles here, and they're a bit slippery. Going to work up to the place where the non-traditionally wrapped stitches are, and there they are. Now this looks pretty much like they would have looked if I had slipped and changed their position on the needle. So I've done that step on the row before. So what I do is I just insert my needle into the back. I'm going to knit them through the back as I would a typical SSK, and I'm going to work the stitch and pull it off. And there's my SSK. Notice it's a little smaller and a little neater. Now one thing you've got to be careful with is not to wrap those stitches tightly on the row before, or they will pucker. Work, work to the next spot. There are the stitches. Put in through the back and work it. Now this is another way you can try when you're working on your SSKs to see if you get good results. Kat Bordy also has a video on SSKs, which she calls the slim trim SSKs, and you can find that on YouTube. If you use that method, be sure that you don't twist the final stitch. In the master's program and in the basics course, we don't like twisted stitches, so we try to avoid them. And the next lesson in this series is going to talk about twisted stitches and twisted decreases, because that is what you do in swatch number 4 of the lesson. And it will also discuss KSPs, which people find such a mystery.